Hello and welcome to this lesson within SOLIDWORKS. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to prepare an orthographic projection drawing of our T block. So ultimately, we will end up with an elevation, a plan, an end view, a border, and a title block. So for the moment, I'm going to close this. And what I want you to do is go to SOLIDWORKS, File, New, and this time I want you to go to Drawing and click OK. So the first window that will open is this one. It is asking us what size paper do we want to draw on. For me, it is automatically on A3, which is what we want. So if it is not on A3 for you, I want you to click A3 and click OK. Now you will notice that we have a default border and title block that is a little bit unsuitable for what we want. So we will change this. But there are a few things we want to do before I do that. First thing is I want to make sure I'm in millimeters, which I am. And on the left hand side here, I want us to right click on sheet 1 and go to properties. And I want you to change the type of projection to first angle projection. Now what we're going to do is we're going to change this border and title block before we actually start our drawing. And what we're going to do is we're going to save this so that every time we want to do a drawing, we don't have to change the border and title block. We can just open up our existing work. So what we will do is we will save this in a new folder within our existing folder. So for me, it is on my desktop. So our SOLIDWORKS lessons folder. Create a new folder and we will call it blank drawing. And within this, let's call it blank drawing as well. So I want to change the border and title block. To do that, I'm going to have my cursor on my page. I will right click and go edit sheet format. And you'll notice that our border and title block becomes pronounced in black and blue. I want to delete all this. So I will select everything, press and hold the left button on my mouse, select everything. It goes light blue, which means it is selected, and press delete then. We now have a blank page, and this will allow us to start drawing our border and title block. First thing I want to do is my border. To do that, I want to draw a line from the top left hand corner. So as much as possible, I'm going to zoom in there and draw a line out at 10 millimeters. And again, I'm going to do it up by eye and maybe then smart dimension after. So it's 10.12. I'll smart dimension that as 10. And I want to draw a line down 10 millimeters as well. So I think that's already 10, which it is, perfect. I'm happy with that. I also want to repeat that same process in the bottom right hand corner. And again, you might have to zoom right into it and come up 10 and out 10. So I'll smart dimension them as well just to make sure. 10 and 10 as well. So now that's going to allow me to draw a rectangle, corner rectangle from this point here to this point here. I will press escape to get out of that command. Escape is my button on the top left hand corner. I now have a rectangle that is 10 millimeters from every edge of my page. I'm going to select the first lines we drew there, press delete, same in the top left, select everything and delete. So I'm happy with that. I'm just going to hit save to make sure I don't lose my saved work. I'm going to repeat the same down here. I'm going to put a title block down here this time. So what I will do is I'm going to draw a line that will be up 20 millimeters roughly, out 80 and down as well. Again, I'll press escape to get out of that. I'll smart dimension this little line that we drew. So you notice that as I hover over my little line that I drew is orange, I can select that and come out. If that doesn't work, what I can do is press my smart dimension again, and I can click the end of the line there, the end of the line there. I may have to do it again. Sorry, smart dimension, pick the two ends and bring it out, and I will make that 20 millimeters. And I want to make this 80 millimeters long as well. I now want to draw a line from the midpoint out. I'll press escape to get out of that and draw a line again and bring it down. I'm going to delete my lines here, so select them and press delete. And what I'm going to do then is add a little bit of text into my title block. So text is within annotations and note. So a little rectangular box should come out. If I bring that down too close to my lines, you notice that it changes to kind of a leader line, but I do not want that. I'm going to come back up. Now my rectangle has disappeared, but I still am in the command. So I'm going to left click and a little box should open up, and I will call this T block. I will repeat that. Note down here, Mr. Curwen. Confirm that there. Press and hold the left button, bring it down. Note, left click, and for the last one here, which I'm going to put something here, I will call that scale maybe 1:1. Confirm that and drag it down. So that is my border and title block done. I'm happy with that. I want you to press this button over here, which will confirm that. Now, as I do that, watch the color of the line. It changes to gray. So that means that now we cannot change that. Okay, so I cannot change my text here. If I did want to change it, I would right click and go edit sheet format. And I'm now back in edit mode, but I'm happy with that. So I'll confirm that as well. I'm going to save that now. So now I'm going to X out of this. And what we can do is I can open up my blank drawing. So if you remember, we created a blank drawing folder. I now have a blank drawing sheet. Well, if I double click that, any future drawings, we can just simply open up this page and we're ready to do a drawing. The only thing you might have to change is the title block. You might have to change that to whatever the name of your drawing is. So I'm going to save this again. So this time I'm going to go File and Save As. And I want you to save this within lesson 1, and let's call this the T block. So I'm ready to start my drawing now, and what I want you to do is I want you to go into View Layout, and I want you to click Model View for a moment. So Model View, and you'll notice that we have a little browse option here that will want us to look for our T block. So it's important that you know where it is saved. So for me, it is in my desktop, my Mr. Curwen SolidWorks lessons, lesson 1, and that is my T block there. I will open that, and now what we have here is a little rectangle. So it's asking us, where do I want to place my first view? I'm going to put it up in the top left hand corner. So I will left click. So that is our elevation. Now I haven't moved my mouse yet. If I bring it down, you notice a plan appears, which is brilliant. If I come back up here and go to the right, an end view will appear. Now just if you move around, for example, you have different views that will come out of this. So for example, we might want an isometric view of some sort. So I'm going to come up to the top right hand corner, left click, and they're all the views I really want. So it's kind of asking us, do we want more views? Not really, I'm happy with that. So I'm going to confirm that. So there are the views that we want. We want to move them around a small bit. So I'm going to press and hold and drag it over to the left, and press and hold this and bring it over to the left. That is going to give us room. So I'll press and hold and drag this down to the outside, sorry. You notice that I can move it around, okay? So to move it around, if you press and hold it, or more so if you come to the outside, you should be able to maneuver it around. So the best thing to do is come to the outside or wait until you have that sign, drag it and move it around. So I want to just kind of tidy this up a small bit, and I'll talk to you about how I can move these around. So if you remember, the first view that we did was this one here. This one will allow us to move it up and down, left and right, whatever way we want. That is kind of the master drawing of it. If I wanted to move this left to right, I can, but I cannot move it up and down. I cannot move it up and down. Why? Because it's linked to this, and this is the only one that will allow us to move it up and down. With this one, again, I can move it up and down, but I cannot move it left and right. So I can only move it up and down. So I'm going to tidy that up a small bit. And I'm going to save my work there just so I don't lose it. What I will do now is I'm going to put a few dimensions on my actual drawing. So I'm going to move it out a small bit, and I want you to go to Smart Dimension, and let's just put a few small dimensions on it for the moment, just for demonstration purposes. Always a good idea to keep the text in the middle. Again, try and line it up so it's in line with the other one, which it is. And keep the dimension, the number in the middle. It looks a lot neater. I might just put 1 here as well, for example. Perfect. I will hit save as well. And what I might do as well is actually, before we move on, the text in the dimensions is quite small. So what we will do is I'm going to make that bigger. So I'm going to select my text. You notice that our dimension window opens up. If I go to Other, and if I unclick Use Document Font and then click Font, that allows me to change the size of it. So I might make that 8 millimeters and click OK. And you notice that it is nice and bigger. I might just move this out of the way a small bit. And I will do the same with these 3 here. Now I'm going to show you a quick way of doing all of these 3 together. If I press the Control button, which is the CTRL button in the bottom left hand corner, and if I select all of these, just click them, you notice that it will allow us to select all 3 of them together. And if I go to Other, unclick Use Document Font, go Font, and type in 8 there. And again, that's gone nice and big and it's easily readable then. Now I want to add a little bit of text underneath that to say it's an elevation, for example. I will do that within Annotations and Note. And again, I'm going to hover over here, left click, and a little window will open up and we'll type in elevation. And now that's quite small text there, so I might just double click it and make it 20 maybe, and confirm that. Now I might just center that there. I want to do that again. Note, come down here. This will be plan, P-L-A-N. I will double click that as well. Double click it and make it 20 as well. Sometimes that might happen. If it does, press escape. And I might just put end view over here then. So note, end view, ENDVIEW. Double click this. You might have to select it because there's a space there, and go 20 as well. Happy with that, confirm it then. How am I doing that? I'm pressing and holding the rollerball button on my mouse. Now what I might do is I might just delete this number here and bring it up to the top so it's not in the way. So Smart Dimension that maybe. And I might have to change that again. So select that, Other, unclick Document Font, and 8 I think, wasn't it? It was, yes. Confirm that. Bring that up there. So we now have an elevation and a plan and an end view. I will just save that. My isometric view here is quite big, just a little bit too big. So I might just change the scale of this. I might show you how to change the scale. So what I can do is if I select this, and if I go to scale down here, if I go to use custom scale, let's just go scale of 1 to 2 and see what it is like. A little bit too small now actually. So if I go to this down arrow here, and if I go to user defined, for example, that will allow me to put my own scale in. So if I go as maybe 1 is to 1.2 and left click, I now have a more suitable scale. So I will save that again. And I want to show you a little bit how we add a little bit of color to this. So if I select this and if I come down to display style, we have various options of, so for example, at the moment it is at hidden lines removed. If I click shaded with edges, we'll notice that my T block becomes black. Why is that black? Because my original shape I drew it black. If I were to go shaded, some of the outside lines would disappear. Now I want to show you the power of SOLIDWORKS. If you go and open up your original T block, so like I said, it should open now. This is my original T block. It is black, hence that it was black in my drawing. Let's just change this again to whatever color you want. I might go to Candy Apple Red, double click it, and I might have to change everything. Double click it, bring it over, and body. So my whole thing is now red. I will save that. It's important you save it. I will close it. I don't want it open. And it is now red here, for example. So that goes to show the link between the original drawing that we did and my new drawing. So that is why I said right at the start, if you did not have your T block finished, you could not continue with this. So we're nearly there now. I will save that again. And I want to save this as a PDF format. So for example, if I wanted to send this drawing to somebody who did not have SOLIDWORKS, if I go to File, Save As, and what we will do is save it as a PDF format. Now, if I look here, at the moment it is a SOLIDWORKS drawing document. If I click this down arrow here and go to PDF, so Adobe Portable Document Format, and again, let's leave it as T block, it's okay like that. It will save as a PDF format, so I will minimize this and go back to my folder. Within lesson 1, we have our PDF file, SOLIDWORKS drawing document, and our part. So our part drawing is what we started off with at the start. We then moved on to a drawing of it, and we now have a PDF file. So in theory, we can send that file to anybody at all, even if they do not have SOLIDWORKS. So that is our drawing done. Finally, you will notice that on all SOLIDWORKS drawings, we are using an educational version of SOLIDWORKS. So our drawings will come out with this that says SOLIDWORKS Educational Edition for instructional use only. What does that mean? It means that they do not want people using SOLIDWORKS in a business, for example, because generally the SOLIDWORKS version is cheaper or quite often free as well. So that is the end of this lesson.